This is the patio garden. Last year I did some things back here, and this year I decided to really turn it into a food production area. You'll see I've got my wonderful tomato ladders, and these allow the tomatoes to climb up, 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 which does sort of help maximize the amount of space, which is why I planted a lot, and I know I'll need to trim probably. And then you never know, sometimes they don't all do well, but I do have 3 back here, 2 in front, and then last year I noticed that the wild cherry tomato was going everywhere. You know, I thought it would be growing towards the sun, and the other tomato plants too, but they really sort of grew everywhere. So this year I decided to take this piece of sort of lattice trellis. It's nice. And at the bottom I've got tomato plants. And this is a Matt's wild cherry. This is a yellow striped German, and this is a Matt's wild cherry. Doesn't look like much now, right? An inch tall. But I expect that by the end of the summer, I will be able to train these cherry tomatoes up the vine. Also, hopefully the big yellow one in the middle, and more over here. And so you really can't have too many cherry tomatoes. You can always roast them, pop them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer, pull them out later. I love cherry tomatoes. So then here, though, we have, you know, a variety of tomato plants. I do have a black cherry tomato growing out here. This is the mortgage lifter. That tomato plant that was paid off the guy's mortgage when he developed it back in the 40s. It was like a $6,000 mortgage. So I'd love to come up with a tomato plant to pay off our mortgage. Anyway, let's see, what else do we have here? Everything's labeled, of course. Oh yeah, tomato Old German. Nice, heirloom. Should be good. And let's see, over here now I am doing a layout where I'm going to show in a watercolor. Oh yeah, here's another wild cherry. Yeah, I figured it was, why not? Because they will continue to produce well into the fall sometimes, and you know, I'll be out here Thanksgiving maybe looking at a couple of cherry tomatoes. I think, and those are beautiful little sweet candy-like tomatoes. This is a black cherry tomato, bigger, like a dark purplish color, right? And so I put that here on the end too. And then look, you've got to kind of train them up the ladder. Sometimes this is a little tricky. I've been known to break a few plants, so let's see if I can do this gently, gently, gently. And if you break it when it's this big, it should be okay still, but you don't want to break a small plant. I'm going to have to work on this one too. Matt's wild cherry, it has a tendency, it's a very prolific sort of plant. And so then I took the milk crates and put them here and lined them with coconut mat core to keep them from, you know, to line them, keep the dirt in, and filled them up with some really good potting soil. And I bought the collection of sweet pepper heirlooms from Annie's Heirloom Seeds, which is all sweet peppers. It's a sweet bonnet pepper, it's a sweet pimento pepper, it's a sweet chocolate pepper. So I'm looking forward to see that. Red pepper, of course. So I like sweet peppers. And so hopefully each one will produce, you see I had to do a double fence too, because I need to protect them as well. And then my friend Sue, thank you Sue from the Senior Center, gave me these giant grow bags. Look at these 20-gallon grow bags. This special material that's designed, you know, to hold the dirt in, but still to have good drainage. I mean, they're sort of amazing, right? 20 gallons. The key is you got to fill them up. So these grow bags have potatoes in them, potatoes that are growing from chunks of organic Yukon Gold potato seeds, they call them. They're really just pieces of potato. So those are in the grow bags here and here. And as the summer goes on, I will continue to fill up the bags. They're about half full now with high grade organic raised bed mix, maybe some potting soil, you know, throw in some other stuff. In the white containers, I have onions. I grew onions last year for the first time. It was so much fun because I cook. And every night when I would look at a recipe or something, it would call for an onion. I'd be like, great, I could just walk outside, grab an onion. So these are evergreen bunching onions. I did not grow these last year, but I tried them from seed. They're really cool. You can plant hundreds of seeds in a container and then you pick them up and they're really tough transplants. So you sort of tease them all apart, and then that's what I did, and then put them in the containers with space in between. Now, I had a few more containers, and I wanted to finish up the patio, and it does get a beautiful full sun. In the morning, it's in the shade, so that's nice too. It's good to work out here in the summer when it's not too sunny yet or too hot. And right behind you is the onion factory, as I'm calling it. So each one of these crates has 5 or 6 little clumps of evergreen bunching onions, and they really are shallow rooted, so I checked to make sure, because these crates aren't that deep and I don't have them filled up all the way, but I think the onions will do fine. And then here I have herbs like basil and thyme and sage. I have herbs right by the door near the kitchen, but I'll also grow some out here. And then the pepper plants that are left over, these are the little pepper seedlings, I'll be putting some of those out in the big garden. So in fact, let's walk out. This is the sweet bonnet pepper. This is the Ashe County pimento sweet pepper. This is the sweet chocolate bell pepper. Looking forward to that. And sweet red Belgian pepper. So if you step in here, and this is the bigger garden. We love this garden. Walk carefully. This is where I also have tomato plants and other things growing. So there will be beautiful flowers and zinnias coming up here. Over here we have some perennial things like lavender, and then I seeded a lot of marigolds. So they're not up yet, but they will be. And then in these raised beds, I always grow tomatoes, and I know you're supposed to rotate out crops, but gee, they usually do so well and I get a lot out of them. So this is an organic beefsteak. This is the smallest plant. Coming up the ladder, over here, I gotta draw out my plan as well as keep my tags handy. Oh, this is the Cherokee purple. I planted these deep. I really could probably cut off some of these lower leaves. It rained a lot last night, which was good. Good for the plants. Here we have some fennel that volunteered, and this is food for the caterpillars and that turn into the beautiful swallowtail butterflies. So we keep this around. There's also lemon balm and mint and chives and things growing around the edges. And this I can tell just by looking at it. Potato leaf, brandywine tomato. It has this really pretty potato style leaf, a different shape. And here is where I'll be growing sweet potatoes and regular potatoes too. So I have some of the Yukon Gold in the special giant grow bags that Sue gave me. I'll also be seeding some here, and then on this side I'll be putting sweet potatoes here, and we'll be having those at Thanksgiving, I hope. Over here, one more cherry tomato. Since I always grow extra of those, like I said, I can't have too much of those. They're just so good, and in the winter you can pull them out. And here is where I'm going to be seeding some more of the wildflower butterfly garden mix. I already have this lantana that I bought at the fundraiser for the Finally Home Animal Rescue. There's some snapdragons. I'll have more flowers, and then over here is where the cucumber trellis is, and I have some cucumber plants. I really need to feed them. Honestly, I looked at them yesterday and I was like, you guys need some food, and I need to mound up some soil around them. So that's one of the next projects. Here I've got, yes, and it's covered with this fence. I'll probably take the fence away once I get everything super secured on the outside here. But here's my shelf that I plan to grow cucumbers up, and yeah. Cucumbers. Over here is what I now refer to as Oregano Mountain. This is an entire giant bush of oregano. If you know me, need oregano, I'm your girl. Tons of oregano. Really great. Oh, it smells so good. It's got a nice, sharp, fresh smell too. So that's the main features. And then, of course, I have to do more. There's this area here where I've got it so I can get in this side. I have multiple ways to get into this garden, especially while I'm working on it. And these are daffodils, you know, they're done. And so I have typically done something here. I haven't quite made up my mind what to do here. So we'll see what happens with this, because it's a really nice sunny spot. Front of the garden, you know, we have oak trees all around. There's a beautiful little pond, but it's not as much sun as I'd really, you know, like for tomatoes. So maximizing what we got, planting the peppers, marigolds I'll put in between, and borage, which is this lovely blue cucumber like flower. And so that'll be going in. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful fennel. It's so pretty. It's all feathery. And you know, this tastes like licorice. It's delicious. Some people consider it kind of a weed because it does self-seed. Shows up in places like it did over there. But that's okay. And there's the lavender. It smells really good. And it's just getting ready. You know, the lavender lady, Serene Lavender Farm, she comes to the farmer's market. She'll probably be there today. I bought these lavender plants from her when they were very small, and they've done really well. It's a regular lavender, and then I'm not sure where I got a white lavender since I like purple, but this one has beautiful little white just coming out. Oh, already so fragrant. Those are the main activities going on this morning. Thanks for coming to visit Jane's Garden World. Really excited. Like I said, we have this nice big garden, and now this here patio garden. Stay tuned. Come back soon. Make sure you get outside.